Oh man, I just realized that I'm not live on YouTube. So let's go ahead and kick back again and start over. Sorry. Okay, bear with me as I get everything set up again. Wow, I just noticed I wasn't live. So let's go fix that. Okay. All right. All right, bear with me. I need to make some adjustments and get us back to the beginning because it was streaming on Facebook, but it wasn't streaming on YouTube. And I just realized you got to hit the button. Ah, bummer. Okay, well, we'll give it a few. Let me just get everything set again. Make sure I've got it prepped. I think I got it. Okay. All right, let me just send a little quick note. Howdy. User error. We are live on YouTube now. All right. Okay. It looks like some folks are joining. Howdy, howdy. I actually had started and I forgot to kick off the stream on YouTube. So it was just going to Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and start over real quick and hopefully I can remember what I just said. Okay. So bear with me. I think I've got everything reset and I think we're good. Okay. Let's go ahead and start. I'm Glenn at COAF Field Team on YouTube, and this round we welcome you for another Let's Talk Fishing series. And in this case, we're talking about bass on beds. I said fly fishing in the title, but we'll mix it up with some other things, all related to bass on beds and basically catching a fish or two. So one of the things I do want to point out is I've been able to run longer GoPro live streams where I stream from my GoPro to my phone and then right up to YouTube. And it's mainly because I found a way or learned that you can get one of these external devices and connect to an external power pack. And now the GoPro doesn't overheat. So before I was getting about maybe 30, 45 minutes and then it'd overheat and shut off right in the middle of a live stream. Now, well, I think the last one I did over there at Sonic Pond went an hour and 40 minutes. So good stuff there. Hopefully be able to get you more of those GoPro live streams so you can see what's happening live. You get the mistakes and all. Sorry, I'm not an expert, just an average Joe, avid fisherman. And yep, you get all the mistakes and everything, include, well, I think this last one, I hung up a tree fish at least 3-4 times. All right, so the first thing I wanted to mention is most recently I caught a just short of 20 inches, a bass that I did a little quick YouTube shorts. This is fly fishing another pond in the area, and I just want to point out some of the things that came out of that one for those that may have missed it. So let me switch to that. Okay, so this was at I call it Kroger Park. It's officially Bethany Ridge Park here in the city of Allen. And I had just the day before learned how to tie a particular pattern that I used in this case. So let me go ahead and run that one. And as it runs, I'll explain what I'm doing. Or actually, I'll let it run. Let me up the volume on this, and I think that'll be good. It's gonna go just under 20 inches. Just under 20 inches, not bad. Oh, there's a hit. Oh yeah. Oh yes. It's putting a bend in the rod. Oh, that's a nice bass. Interesting. Oh yeah. See if I can get him over this algae. Take advantage of the bend in the rod, and look at that. So let's just kind of give it an idea how big this is. It's on the end of the rod tip coming up to, oh shoot, let me think. I think I got something. Okay, so the big takeaway on there was this pattern that I picked up from the Dallas Fly Fishers. Let me grab the sheet here. Okay, let's go back to this angle. Okay, here it is. This is the Thief right here. And this is what was presented the other day. It gave us tie-in instructions. And let me see if I can get to the picture of the finished fly itself. Yeah, here it is. Right there. All right. Right there. This one right here. Okay. And what's nice about this is, think of it as a muddler minnow, but much easier to tie than a muddler minnow. And the key takeaway that I would say is why it's much easier to tie is because the first thing is you're not having to spin the deer hair. Instead, you're just creating a head with the chenille, this black chenille. The other thing is with this squirrel tail they used, it was pretty cool for fly tying purposes and make it easier for those that are attending the class. They took some squirrel tail hair, got it set like you would, be able to pinch it, but instead they took some glue, it looked like some hot melt glue, and held it in place so that it wouldn't go everywhere. And that made it much easier to just hold on to the hook shank as I tied my flies. So I think if I'm going to be doing that with other flies, I think that was one to keep in your back pocket. And just maybe a shout out to the Dallas Fly Fishers. Appreciate that fly tying free lesson over there at Cabela's. Every third Tuesday of the month, they host it. It does fill up quickly, so if you are able to go, give it a try. You definitely will learn something. I think the intent of each one of the classes is to show you how to tie a particular warm water pattern that you can turn around and go fish it the next day like I did. All right, so keep that in your back pocket. All right. So other things with bass on beds I wanted to talk about was I took that fly and I actually was catching a bass on bed in this case. But before that, I went to, it's called Lake Glen. It's a lake that was named after yours truly. And it's close to a place I work. And in this place, there are a good number of bass. And I'll just kind of flip through here real quick. It's a fairly good size lake. And now, bear with me with the commercial that comes in. Okay. And it does hold some good-sized bass, but unfortunately, you have to have permission to fish it. So I do. And so I've fished it off and on over the years. Just most recently, I only fished it once this year. Day job got real busy, so I've been sidetracked with that. And so I did have the opportunity to fish it, and I did have the opportunity to use some Bait Finesse Systems gear. This is that Scorpion BFS XG that I use, along with that Micro Light Bass Pro Shops fiberglass rod. And I learned about that Z-Man Ned rig. It's a Micro Finesse Ned rig. And what I wanted to see was, hey, can I catch some bass here and see how it plays out? And guess what? I ended up catching 4, I believe. But I think that's one that if you do want to try Bait Finesse style fishing, that Micro Finesse series or lure is one to keep in your back pocket. I currently have one on the Bait Finesse gear that I have ready to go. So you're either going to see me out and about with that Bait Finesse Systems gear with that Ned rig, or you're going to see me out with that Cabela's TQR using fishing flies and trying to fish some beds and whatnot. So that said, one of the lessons learned that I took away when I went to these different ponds, and oh, by the way, to remember is when you're fishing these bass, you do want to use a wider gap hook. And what I was using, excuse me, for the one that I fished at Sonic Pond just the other day, I was using a small near deer, a purple one, as well as olive one. And in both cases, I had a lot of missed strikes because they were hitting the fly, but unfortunately throwing it on me. So, well, let's go talk about that then. Let's talk about pond fly fishing. This is over here at that Sonic Pond. Only caught 2 fish. This is another one of those GoPro live streams. Went for 44 minutes and then it died on me. Well, guess what? That's because I didn't have that rig. I do have that rig now. Let's see. I'm new to fly fishing in Texas and have learn a lot from your channel. I don't know how to tie flies yet. Do you have any recommendations where I can buy flies that will work well in DFW? Cabela's, that's a good one. Additionally, there's a couple of fly shops in the area. I think there's one in Plano that specifically targets warm water fishing. Yeah, I forgot the name of the shop, but check it out. It's the only fly tying shop in Plano. And additionally, Grapevine has a fly tying or fly shop as well that could give you some help, as well as the Orbis shops that we have here in Plano, I believe, and then one over there in Dallas. And then there's a couple other ones that I don't come to mind, but any one of those would be a good one to touch base with and see if you can get some flies there. Let's say, and this is Sheldon G. Appreciate you joining. The big thing is, if you're not tying flies, one of the things I suggest is, well, go to the Cabela's and go to that Dallas Fly Fishers free fly tying lesson there. They do a real good job there. You have all the gear. They provide it, even the material, and you just start tying, watching the demo, and you do pick up a few good lessons and tips and whatnot, as these guys have been tying for decades. So I may be one of the younger ones that was at the at that last event. You know, us young bucks here. All right, but if you haven't started fly tying yet, I would suggest getting into fly fishing. Eventually get into it, because one thing that I took away from my fly fishing experience is, when I first started out fly fishing, and I was buying flies, what ended up happening was I tended not to fish them very aggressively. Instead, I would be careful. I don't want to cast over here by this underbrush where the fish is lurking, because I don't want to lose my fly. So I'm going to go cast over here. And so I'd be more careful, cautious, because I didn't want to spend that much to buy flies, because they do get expensive. And then what ended up happening is I tended to see a particular pattern that I would fall back on all the time. The olive woolly bugger. That one was a catch-all that I used for years, that would catch anything. The other one was the Betts brim getter. It's a little small fly, size 10, size 12. I think they do make them even smaller, and I do believe there's a size 8. And that one is the one that I used a lot. I used it for bluegill, bass. It's top water, and it made it much easier for me to get better at fly fishing and catching fish, because I could see the fish strike as I'm bringing that foam spider pattern and whatnot. It's right on top, or in some cases it would just sink under a little bit, and I would still fish it wet, and I could see the fish coming up, and I could sense as well as learn how soon I should set the hook, or if I pulled it away too quick, or if I waited too long and he already spit it out. So from a fly tying standpoint, well, guess what 2 flies I learned how to tie first? The olive woolly bugger and the Betts brim getter. And I did make the mistake, I believe, of buying a whole kit that had a ton of stuff in it. And over the years, there was stuff that I never used. What I did tend to use was, for the olive woolly bugger, marabou, some gold or silver wire, let's see, chenille, and some grizzly hackle. And you use that for any fly anyways, but first starting out, learn that pattern, ends up making your own flies. You end up fishing more aggressively. After I learned how to tie the olive woolly bugger as well as the foam brim getter or foam spider, I didn't have a problem losing 3, 4, 5 flies in a session. So I hope that helped. And yeah, do check out those places. They should be able to help you. And right now, this time of year, you probably want to fish something that can drop into a bed and is visible. You do a lot of sight, I guess, fishing, casting when you're out there. I think there's one, let's see, right here. There's one particular spot where there was a bass. Oh, bear with me on with this ad. Let's get that one through. Well, there was a bass that was, he didn't react initially, but he ended up picking up my fly, and I actually spent probably a good 10-15 minutes trying to get him to strike. And then he did actually strike. And what happened is what helped was I was using a purple olive near, or purple near deer, or like a woolly bugger, and I could see the shape of it in the bed, and I could actually see the bass come in there and take the fly, and that sight casting helped. And in fact, what I normally use when I'm specifically targeting bass on beds is a wider gapped hook and something that's very visible. And in fact, let me show you this one right here. The Piedmont, purple marabou and orange thing, or Piedmont. All right, so what happens is it's just several really thick marabou plumes. It's purple. That purple really stands out when you're going up against a bed it's got that white background. And then the red, that's just there because you want some kind of red to elicit a strike. But it's very visible, and I'm able to drag it through the bed, and I can actually see the bass react to it. Oh, there it is. And then when he picks it up or moves at it, I can try timing my cast or my hook set so I get him. And so that's what I really use when I'm out fishing. But recently I just been wanting to check out different areas because it's still kind of, that transition period. We had several cold fronts come through, weather went up then down, but right now they are on their beds. The key now is, fishing the ones that are interested in your fly or your lure, and fishing the ones that are skipping the ones that aren't interested. And what I noticed, especially over here at the Sonic Pond, there's a ton of beds there, is as soon as I cast and that bass spooked and went away, I skipped them, went on to the next one. In the case of the ones that didn't spook, they did two things. They would immediately react to the fly and strike it, or they would sit there and just kind of watch it as it went by. And if you recast to them, and about the third, fourth, fifth time, I noticed either they were getting really aggressive and starting to move in there, and, well, not aggressive, but agitated, that they got closer to the fly and they would kind of nip at it or jab at it, and that gave me the chance to set the hook and get them on at least briefly before they threw it on me. Or they continued to ignore it. Well, at that time, it's time to move on to the next bass. At least that's the fun time of year. That's why I do a lot more pond fly fishing and pond fishing in general this time of year, because of these bass. They're spawning, they're out there, and you have that opportunity to sight cast and see the bass react to your presentation, and then you learn how to set the hook a little bit better as well. And then later on, as things warm up, then I'll go back to kayak fishing. Let's see, I saw your DIY leader video. Can I use those leaders with the marabou jig? Yes, it shouldn't be a problem. In fact, everything that you've seen in the past, I'd say 2 years that I posted, those are all do-it-yourself leaders. I haven't bought one in a while, just because it's cheaper. And the fish that we're fishing here aren't really, what do you call it, picky, I guess. I find that if you use maybe a 4-pound test as your tippet, you tend to get more strikes. I did go to 2-pound, and I'm talking tippet. I'm actually just using Stren Mono. I'm not buying the tippet in the $8 and $10 deals that you get here. In fact, let me go grab it real quick. All right, bear with me. Okay, there. Stren Mono. And this is 6 pound. I got 4 and I got 2. And yeah, these last a good while. Not had any problems spooking anything, or at least anything finicky. And hey, it's rather spend more money on other fishing related things other than really expensive tippet. Maybe if I'm going to a once in a lifetime, let's go hit a really fancy spot that has some really big fish, once in a lifetime fish. Maybe I'll splurge then, but for now, I'm good with that. Alrighty. Okay, I hope that answered your question. All right, let's go on to the next one that I wanted to bring up. Is, oh man, sorry with these. Here it is, right here. These ads. Okay, so this is again Sonic Pond. A lot of bass on their beds. Later on in the year, there'll be some nice sized bluegill as well. So keep that one in your back pocket. Going to, let's see, this one right here. This is Bethany Lakes. What happened here is your classic case of just, I got them on the hook, but they're still throwing it on me. And one thing that was different about this one is I couldn't see the bass itself, but I could see the wake. They would make this kind of sort of V wake right behind it. You could see just a hump of water. So as I'm bringing in the fly, let me see. In fact, here, let me go and bring up this other one where I talk about the missed strikes right here. Okay, so let's run this one. Oh, that's 3 now. 3. I should have set that hook. He was on there playing with it. I think he was on a bed. Kind of cruising. Let's see if I can get it past him. There he goes. He's chasing it right there. Oh, I saw the wake. He was chasing it. So far, it would be 4 misses now. 4 missed hook sets. Just right behind it. As I was bringing it in, I saw a little wake behind it. There he goes. Okay, so I was mentioning I saw a wake behind it. So what happens is as I was bringing the fly in, retrieving it, just a steady retrieve, I could see just sort of a hump in the water. And that's that wake. And it wasn't like a true V wake when they're hitting a foam grasshopper or a foam spider that I see when I'm fishing surface. Instead, they're just under the surface and they're coming up right behind the fly, and I could see that wake or that hump coming into the fly, and I'm adjusting my speed to see if he'll continue to follow it. In this case, I got him to hit, but soon after he threw the hook on me. This one I had on briefly, and then he threw it. The other 3, those all, I saw the same thing. Just this wake going through the water. And let's see. So let's see if I have one right here. So I'm bringing the fly. I'm bringing the fly right here, let's say. And right behind it, I can see where the water's flat, but then it's starting to hump as something's falling behind it. And that's what I'm keying off of when I'm fishing in that manner, or when the bass are acting that way. That also happens with trout, and it also happens with bluegill. It happens with all fish, at least the ones that I've caught, is eventually they're going to be coming behind you. You won't see them. You'll just see that little bump in the water moving toward your fly, and you get ready to set the hook. All right. If you have glasses, polarized glasses, that helps when you actually see them. And one of the other things is if I'm using a high visibility fly, let's say white, purple, red, orange, if I see that color moving through the water, but then it disappears for no reason, immediately set the hook, and you'll be surprised how many times you'll find that you got a fish on the line. All right. Let's see. Let me go back to the PMOT. Okay, this is if I was serious and all I wanted to do was basically work a bunch of these flies or bass on beds. This is the one I'd use. There's another variation of this where I take a size 2 hook, sort of one that I would use for striped bass. It's got a wider gap, but with a long shank. And I take some vice grips and I bend it to make it have a little crook in it. I think I have a video called the bent back clouser or something. But anyways, I take that and then I tie some more marabou to the front right here. And then on the bend of the hook, I'll add some more marabou. So what ends up happening is you get a fly that it's got some weighted eyes. So instead of laying flat, it's laying at an angle with the tail up and the hook bend up. And it's perfect for dropping into a bed and just kind of twitching it really slow, not moving it very far. And you'll be surprised how many strikes bass will strike. And because that hook bend and that gap is in the right position, your hookup rate will increase. And so when I'm serious about it, and I got one of these, yeah, I'll pull one of these out and start headed out. Let's see, I think I should have that here. Let's do this. Bent back clouser, COAF. Let's see, bent back clouser, clouser, fishing fly. Let's try that. I know I either did an article or something on it. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Bent back clouser variant. Okay. So here's the bent back clouser variant, and then here's where I'm out there using it. Here, bent back clouser. In fact, here, I'll bring that one up real quick. And you notice the way I found it was I went on to YouTube search and specifically put in bent back clouser and then COAF for City of Island Fishing, and then I added fishing fly and it popped up. So let me bring this one. I think it's one of the older videos, 6 years ago. Wow. All right, cool. Open link in new tab. Okay. Bear with me for the commercial. Oh wait, no, okay. All right, there it is. Let me go ahead and turn on the audio. To Sonic Pond this evening to test out our bent back clouser variant. This one has a weighted keel, doesn't use dumbbell or bead chain eyes, and we use craft fur for it. And then some chenille to wrap the body. And trying to test it out. This is the first one that we'll get this round. I almost got it to the hand, but unfortunately it slips away and we get it in slow motion falling back in the water. But that said, we're able to do a do-over and get another one to hook on. Put up a real quick fight. It's a little guy, but still went for that variant, clouser variant. Cool stuff. Here's another. Alrighty. Okay, I gotta mute something. Okay. All right. So that was that bent back clouser minnow. I think there's some other ones that you'll see in there where I've caught some nice bass. Again, with a variant of a fly that fits hook or hook bend up, and it's increased my hookup rate there. All right. I think that's all for now. Appreciate y'all joining today. Sheldon G, thanks for the questions, and I'm good luck out there with your fly fishing forays, and maybe you can tell us, come back on and let us know if or how's it been going, and if you caught anything, and maybe got a bruiser or two. And then again, that stay tuned for some more of these GoPro live streams. I'm able to do a lot longer live streams using this rig now, right here. And unfortunately, I don't monitor the chat or the comments, so I have to pick it up afterwards. But I do check them. And what's nice is, well, you can see I can edit a video and make it look like I'm a pro, or I can just give you the GoPro live stream, and you can definitely see what an average Joe fishes like. Thanks for the tips. Love your channel. Have a good night. All right, have a good night too, Sheldon G. All right, all for now. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck and good fishing.